There we go. Do I have sound first? I have to do all this check stuff that I have to worry about on the old. But then, yes, sound. Hey, can you hear? Hey, can you hear it? Listen to this. What's the diabolical pig? Shit. It's supposed to be moving, isn't it? Yeah, what's that? That's not it. Oh, you can hear me? Okay. Good enough. Good enough. My audience of one. Ha ha. Ha ha. How are you? I sent out a lot of invites, so I didn't know who's coming and who ain't. Yeah. Look at that thing. Do you see that thing? The alien? It's some kind of radio. I was like, I totally want that. And she goes, no, that's my radio. So I got ready to come on, and you see where it is. Ooh. So hello. It's been since February, I think. Lots has happened other than, Armageddon. A lot of things have happened. Pandemic. But I think it was like the 1st of March, maybe, something like that. And I was taking out the trash off the deck. There's another floor, and then there's a deck, and then there's stairs. And it was dark. And I was carrying a garbage bag, and I missed a step. Missing a step at 61 is a lot different than missing a step at 20. And I landed on my hands and knees. But my feet were on the steps. So they were on, and took my weight. The garbage bag pretty much saved my knees. And there was a metal bookshelf like at school, and my head went into that. So when I fell, it went kabong, and I started laughing because I had that weird response. But I knew I was fucking hurt. And sure enough, one foot swelled up really big. It was icky. Old people do not need to fall down on cement. And I think it was like 4 weeks before I could walk on uneven ground. Left foot took all the weight. And I kept saying my broke foot, and it wasn't broken, but it took a lot of people looking at it going, I don't think so. It took a lot of people, but it thought it was broken. And the other foot, so I say I landed on my feet. I just landed on the wrong side of my feet. So that literally had me laying down for like 5 weeks. I could, ease around, but I could not bend. It's just, old lady weak-ish stuff. I'm lucky that I didn't break a hip or something. God, I am that age. I broke my hip. And I laughed, and so nobody thought I was hurt. So everybody else goes inside. So I couldn't even walk. I had the thyroid stuff. The doc did the medicine, whatever, and it was not the right dose. And so that was another part of it that I just felt like ass. And so about 2 weeks ago, he changed all the doses, and suddenly I feel like a person. There were in May alone, 5 people that we knew died. And the people I live with, Arthur and Julie, Arthur's daughter passed away. It was, now it was difficult because I've known her since she was like 15, and she had cancer for 10 years, and I think 72 hours later, Julie's daughter had her baby. So this the spirit gate was so fucking open that it was like a farmhouse in Kansas, and it was sacred law in motion. Death gives life, life gives rebirth. It was just bang bang. The other three was like in a week. So I lost a friend in Europe. I have two friends in China that I have not in contact with since probably December, and I don't think they're around. My other friend is in China, songwriter. She's okay, but I've had no response out of the other two. Three friends in the whole family, my best friends in Ireland. They got it and they came down it, and luckily she's a healer. And this is way early. This was April. Uh, um, it's been mostly just getting ready for that, dealing with that, because otherwise to be in complete lockdown and isolation. I mean, excuse me, spiritual seclusion. Nothing has changed with how I live. It's the same. Uh, the last I went to, we were going to meetings and stuff, and the last meeting I went to is the last week in February, and we were sitting there and looking around, and Spirit said, "You can't come back. You can't." Now, because I'm the target demographic, I'm who they're not going to make any effort to save. Yeah, asthma, Hashimoto's, 61, and not afraid to call them on their shit. Yeah. Oh, indigent, nobody that they can make money off of or exploit. And like I say, I can see straight through their shit. So, oh yeah, they want me deader than hell. Your connection is unstable. There it is. It says your connection was unstable. Let's see. I was outside today talking to a good friend, been my friend since third grade. And when we talk on the phone, our phone calls last a minimum of like 3 hours. And sometimes we were 5 hours. Sometimes we would talk at night like 5 hours when we were in school. But we'd seen each other all day long at school, but we could talk all night. We've always had this psychic connection, and this was the first time that he and I had spoken since I left the yucky people. And so we had a lot of catching up to do. While I was outside and we were talking, the next door neighbor cut his grass. And it didn't occur to me because I was listening to him. Guys, I am amazingly allergic to that. And it kicked me into an asthma thing. And I've had two more like gaspies. So if you hear me like, that's what that is. It makes me breathe weird for a while, but it works. Fuck that. All this tracking shit on your phone. What? Oh yes, I have views. But I think that's pretty much it, though. I think that's like the thrust of it. Talk to I don't keep up with the news. I don't watch TV ever, really. I might catch something on YouTube or see something on Facebook. There are times that I won't go on Facebook at all, and it's because of what it does to my energy. So just like I said, when I was at Keith, is my volume okay, hon? Is it am I talking too loud? because that little green dot isn't moving much. Um, you know, life and death. Really the bottom line, it's hard to scare somebody who spent 5 years every day to see if this was going to be the last day and to be ready as a warrior and to be accepting. So it's hard to scare somebody like me. Like I said, I'm ready, and but do your bit. And then when you know that they're out to get you, that just pisses me off. That just brings up the Irish, and I'm like, what are you saying there? And I have to stay away from the people. I have to wear the mask because I'm not done yet. The infinite has more stuff for me to do, and I need to be well enough to do it. So, did deep inner work, be online, and I live with. We adopted each other. No, I'm talking. We adopted each other. It's not like, oh, I like how you shot. You just be my sister. No, this was like a ceremony. This was a big deal. And because Arthur and I have always been like brother and sister, we're just like opposites but the same. And we adopted each other. So my adopted brother has 35 years of sobriety, and my adopted sister has 20. So here at the house, you are up to your armpits in recovery. And like I say, AA, when you walk it, AA is a warrior path. So it's a baseline where we meet, and we're constantly doing the work. There's almost no shallow that goes here at all. Now, the daughter moved in; she's in the next room. It's just a baby, and you know what? I'm not one of those kind of women, but the baby sounds like the cats. And so the baby will start crying, but she sounds like one of the cats, and I'll go, so I'm meowing at the baby. And she's perfectly healthy. But excuse me. And you may hear bangs. It's almost the 4th of July, and Butte loves to blow shit up. So it sounds like Belfast outside. The dog is hiding. There we go. So now we're up to date. I think. Yeah, that's Belfast. And we planted some stuff, and it's really been this, health wise. Went and got the TSH done, and it has not moved. And so I was just like, give me more, and we need to fix this. Yeah, it's the doctor. And people will say, Dr. So Greg. I love being old. Okay, Greg, so this is what we're going to do. And he did. And I'm talking doubled it. And sure enough, 4 days later, I was like, started to sit up and to feel better. I'm getting metabolism back because the autoimmune stuff is coming back. It's got a name like that one. It has something to do with your nerve endings. And other than that, I don't know. They look like hives. They're not. So there you go. So how are you? I thought about you a lot. I just didn't have the energy to like catch up on stuff. Did I not? Hang on. Did I not say? I don't even know what that is. Kabang. No, it's at the bottom. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy. Okay, see? Oh my God with your fucking community guidelines. Let me turn this off, please. Go away. Uh, uh, I don't want to learn more. I want you to go away. Oh, God, they do this blackmail. Thank you, and goodbye. So, Spirit Gate has been wide open, and we've just been in an altered state of consciousness for since January. One that we loved was preparing to go, and one who we loved was arriving. My adopted sister, menopause. Thank you, hormones. And I found out that if you are in the house with a woman who is a greater woman because she is pregnant, a woman with menopause, and you have already gone through menopause 10 years ago, oh, you get the hot flashes all over again. And it was an altered state of consciousness for all those months. I've done a fuck ton of writing. And so now we can finally talk about stuff. So with that, with people passing on, some there are fluctuations in energy that's incredible. And I'm looking through Facebook. We'll get started on the bullshit soon. Look at the Facebook. I will read through Facebook, just getting the flavor. What's the general vibe? And I see recently some people are experiencing like nightmares and really intensified dreaming. And I want to talk about that. It's carnal area. And then others are talking about extreme anxiety and a feeling of impending doom. I'm not going to tell you that's wrong, but the futility of it all, and they're like scared. Yeah, some are depressed, but really most of what I'm seeing is people are anxious and they're nervous, and I know what that is too. So, I'm gonna go on Facebook. I'll start writing, and then I never know. I never know what I'm gonna say. Um, uh, I have spent quite a few days because I am Barb Dwyer. I know how to find these things. Just verifying. I am nothing if not connected, and like I say, uh, one place I don't have much connection is Japan, so I can't really tell you much about Japan. But I could tell you about Romania. I could tell you sort of about China, Korea, uh, lots of places. It's not fake, and it seems to be global that people locked down and that they were scared. People don't know how to be alone. They don't know how. I know people who can't be with themselves, and that's some of it. And so I've tried, this is what you do. Other people, uh, let's just say people not as deep, is it that way? They will hurt you to not be alone. They won't look internally. And those are the people who can be dangerous because they will hurt you to not have to look at themselves. They'll strike out. I'm sure that is part of what we're seeing in like the grocery people turning to shit and being assholes. And I'm talking before this whole secondary thing. Um, we kind of have we have the festering fuck tangle giving license to people to be cruel to others and to be shallow, uh, to not care about others. And so they go out and, well, he does it, so I'm going to do it too. I'm hearing a lot of people getting crowded in the checkouts and people my age. That can be scary. My age, not me, because I will definitely, mask and all, I will jump in your shit with both feet. But people like running others off the road and behaving that way, the way that they are, that like they're generating into like animals, and they are in a way because they're not spiritual beings. They have enough spirit to like ambulate, but they are not connected. And the creatures that are like that in nature are the insects. And if you've ever watched insects, insects don't think about hives and they don't think about, oh, look, there's a guy in a bathing suit that's going to sting him. That insects don't think. Insects react. If you poke at a bug, it will either sting you or go away. There's very few bugs that will like come at you. They will in numbers, but they won't individually because they don't think like that. It's just action, response, action, response. It'll either crawl away. And yeah, that's kind of how people are. Just don't know. So yeah, be safe. So there's that. And it hasn't really been gradual. It started as soon as the election was over, really, just, oh, great, we could be assholes. And they have been since. Did when I broke through and okay, here we go. Facing the connections. Well, very first video, I said, I I went and looked. I said, uh, guys, I don't think we're gonna make it. It's kind of happening, and we have. There are those of us who came into this world knowing that something was going to happen. I think I've said this in other videos, which knew something is going to happen. Now, being, you know, the nuclear age, I just thought it would be either, an atom bomb or something in the world would blow up or something. But I've always known, and that's what I said in the first video, I have always known that there will come a time that this something, and I have always known that there would be a mass exodus of souls. And that is happening, right? That is happening. And it hasn't, excuse me, it hasn't hit a momentum yet. It may not. I sense that it will. But when big numbers decorporalize, when they die, stuff happens with the energy body and it changes the actual matter around you. That is why battlefields feel the way they do. Yet the old hospitals had that weird vibe, and people creeped people out that couldn't be in the hospital. That's why. the top floor. You do not want to go to the penthouse in a hospital. And when someone passes away, this whole thing happens with the energy body. And the energy body does not look like the aura. You want to send me up the wall. That's how you do it. The energy body is this complex system of light, light energy that the old ones, and some of the books you got, is very much like a candle flame. You have to kind of stare at a candle flame to see why they would say that, but it's fibers and they're spinning really, really fast. But they're not just light. It's conscious awareness. That's different than light. And the energy body, well, mine happens to be a little larger than usual, but yeah, it could be right up against you if you're scared. Or if you're doing ceremony or something's happening, it could be huge. And mine tends to be huge. And so at the point of death, the moment of death, the entire energy body implodes. You have an energy body right at your stomach, implodes into that for just a second. It's just, and it has been called, yes, it's like grease. Yeah, it's called the death rattle. It actually makes a noise. And just this, so just a vibe because this, and then this energy shoots out into all matter. That's parts of the energy body. Those are the parts that are the personality here. There are other parts. I love teaching the energy. And there are other parts, aspects of the energy body that are not specifically here in this dimension that move those other parts. And those are eternal. Those are infinite in nature. And they go back to, the fullness of the awareness goes back to the dimensions where they are from. And of course, like 7 of them. But if the first implosion and then explosion, that's why. It feels different. If you go to a battlefield, the ground will never be the same after a bunch of people. I grew up near Kennesaw Mountain. There was hundreds, thousands of them laying around. I've just always been really sensitive to it. And I saw it happen twice. One was my mother, and the other was my mentor. And that's why the Dene, Navajo, if someone dies in the Hogan in their houses, they bust the window out, had the whole north wall out, and they won't live there again because that energy has changed forever. Well, that's happening globally right now. I don't know what the body count is. I don't keep up with stuff like that. But it's a lot. There's a lot. And I can tell you that because I can feel that energy. I get angry when people are shouting. You could do anything because they're lying. They're lying to you. They're lying to themselves. And it's dangerous. But what it also shows is they can't feel it. So those of us who can are having like anxiety attacks. I came back online 3 days ago and had messaged people to talk to me. They've been having nightmares, or had they been like me and they go 3 days without sleeping. It's a dread and some of that feeling when you have awareness, some of that, the anxiety and the trepidation, I guess is the right word, is you're picking up on that energy. When that happens, our energy, as we come in contact with that space, our energy, because the energy body is literally, this is our browser. And the energy body is like, it is the software, but it's mostly as the physical body can, I think, it's a physical body, is more spirit energy floods in browser, its own add-ons. And then you could do more. So just like with the browser, you can do more stuff. You start to do more stuff, you got some energy, the body adjusts so you can utilize it. I was shown the other day when I was outside. I mean, I'm outside just like staring at, and like I was shown, I'm like looking at the sky. At first, that is what a lot the more sensitive people that I know, that's what they're feeling. I'm not saying that they're not like empaths and I just can't take it. There are some people like that they didn't grow up with the discipline, didn't find a teacher, they don't know how to enhance that energy and create a skill from it. That's true. The others they just misidentified it. And it wasn't anxiety or it wasn't fear. It was more like, oh, I want to. It's like when you're getting ready for a race or something. You've just got that much more energy. It's spinning faster. It's expanding. The fibers that are working together will separate. It's so fascinating. And that's what is my experience. Quite a few people were experiencing and they thought they were going crazy. People who, met Daphne on Frasier. I said, I'm a little bit psychic. Well, all the people I'm surrounded with, I don't bother with any other kind of people now. And they're all talking about, are you feeling like just a surge? And like your ability is way better. Yes, get busy because that is what you use, especially when you're my age. That is what you use to heal this apparatus, and you heal it by running more energy through it. And so that is what I've been doing, I don't know, like the last week. And specifically hanging out with people and they're having specific type dreams. Their dreaming is way more intense. It's like they've gone from, on video on YouTube, you'll have like 480p, and it's like they'll jump from 480p to 1080. On the path that I was on, you would go do ceremony, intense ceremony to kick that. So that would happen. Now it's happening like spontaneously. I see it got like one person, I got 3, and I'm like talking to you too. But I'm passing this on to the people who watch my videos because I don't necessarily attract hobbyists or beginners. Pretty much, I guess since the 80s, you may not like this. I teach teachers. So I give way too much information because each teacher is going to take to who they're going to attract. But you're going to experience people that are going to be in those states of confusion. And a lot of them are just going to be scared that they're fucking crazy because those with no conscious awareness and those who seek to keep the public distracted that they don't know that they have a conscious awareness and keep them so distracted that they can't develop it. Lockdown suddenly certain people are experiencing like their natural movement, their natural state of conscious awareness, and they're not afraid to be alone with themselves. And they have been introspecting, learning about them, being with themselves, which is what I was hoping for. Uh, because if someone is introspecting and you're focused on yourself and on nature, on your room, or I'm going to make art, or I'm doing that, what is it you are not doing? You are not being led by the nose electronically. And the ones running this shit, they got a lot of practice at it. If you look at it like 2-year-olds, very dangerous 2-year-olds, you're in the room with a 2-year-old, and you have to pay attention to that 2-year-old, and you look away. What happens? They escalate. They get louder. They start running around. They'll break something because they want your attention back. That is also going on right now. Fuck, I hate that. I write this better than I talk it. For 2 months, 3 months, whatever, there was nothing on Facebook, nothing on the news, nothing on TV. That wasn't the virus. Where's it going? What's the body count? What happens? What do we get? How does what does this feel? Can it do this? Everyone was focused on the virus. How's it? Where's it going? The pandemic. And when they did that, they were no longer focused on what I have since the 1970s called the world of man. And the world of man is not nature. It is not the world. And by keeping people focused on it, it's like when you're playing tennis. You're playing tennis, other people are watching play tennis. And they're into it, playing tennis, and the guys are watching to do the score. Everybody's watching that court. For that moment, those people watching and focused on that tennis game, they have agreed to behave. It's real. We all know that it's not real. Stuff they have agreed on, and there's certain actions that are good and some that aren't. And there's a light board, and there's like numbers. They're not real. They don't matter because game's over, game set match. Everybody gets up and walks away. And nobody's walking around with a big light on their head, and the world is no longer a clay surface. That's what I mean. But the time that you're playing that tennis game, it's everything. It's real. But then the game is over. Now imagine this tennis game is intense. It's real. And nobody is allowed to leave. Nobody is allowed to look away. Nobody is allowed to distract from the game because the central watch us. That's the world of man. That is a world that is pretend, and it's like overlaid to the real, the world. You have to go live in nature for a few months to come back and go, holy fuck. But I wrote one time that the world of man is all fabricated, and it's humans entertaining humans to keep the attention of humans and pretending that canyons of concrete and glass are real, that they're nature. I wrote it better than I just said it, but it's not real. It's not nature. And I've had people, oh God, you've seen them attack people on Facebook. Well, I'll be in person to tell people that. You have this. Do you? If it were nature and it was absolutely real, then why would the unit of measurement of worth have to look like a talisman? They're going to do everything they can to enhance that and make sure to watch the tennis game. Well, kids, this has been the tennis game. And, they've been doing this for a very long time. They know that there doesn't really have to be something. All they watching them. So for these months, and people did. They, oh my God, these are my children's. And I can't work. I'm going to be broke. I'm going to lose my house. Very few did. So, here comes Buck Tangle. Hey, we'll go back to work. We'll do this or that. Pretty much the species went, fuck, because you can't. It's not safe. And they know it's not safe. People know it's not safe. You know in your gut that it's not safe. So it didn't work, did it? So suddenly there was more and more. More and more. Watch the game. It's okay. And you are watching the game, and we don't have to watch your channel. And it wasn't okay. And most people knew. Most people, it was intuitive from what I was watching. I have a pretty broad spectrum that I watch. And I told certain people at Sky, if you're here, I told certain people, watch the next week, watch what happens. And it began to escalate. And no, you go back. We're going to take away your health care. We're going to take away that. What is that? It's taking the attention, put it where I'm telling you. And see, that's how I see all this. This from my perspective, which is kind of like, like sitting on a star maybe, but I also understand people way better than you guys think. Because number one, I don't like them. So, this infantile tug of war, I cannot work this fucking thing because I have weird electrics. So this tug of war has been going on. I'm watching it. I'm not being that abstract. People are still afraid of being sick. People are conditioned from infancy to obey. So there's a certain faction that, television tells me I have to go back to work, and they're going to go. There's the other group that I told you about. They can't be alone. They will not work on themselves. They will not be silent. That's that group. There's sick people. that know, asthma, go down that list. And there's the ones who just, no, I can't go back. I could go out there. And the reason, did you see the Bournemouth Beach? That's kind of why. Pretending that this pandemic, pretending that this, I want to say the virus, but the pandemic, pretending that it's just a mild, it just looks big because the media has made it big. Media made it big. They did do that. But when they tried to diminish it, there are those of us who, our vibe said, I don't think so. So there are massive numbers. People are no longer corporeal, no longer dreaming awake within, and the earth feels it. And we're not running on somebody else's measurement. Right now, we don't. We have to get up and run and get to work and get out and take your get the job done and don't look up and go lunch and come back and go home and do this and go to bed. If people don't realize that they have done that schedule since they were 5 years old. So they're scared because you do something different. Some people can't handle it. Others realize to go back into that, they're going to lose what they just gained. So all these dynamics are going on, and I'm seeing them. I'm seeing people who have always been spiritual, but they don't talk about it because of those other ones. They're like, hey, no, you're not. They're talking about it because their dreams are going apeshit. The reason dreams are going apeshit is because your energy body is accelerated, it's expanded, you're receiving more information, conscious awareness. And when we're dreaming, we are totally plugged in when we're dreaming. It can get intense as shit. There are bad dreams because it's not all good stuff going on. And I'll do that video. We'll do the dreaming thing. I'll do the energy body thing. And so all of this going on at the same time. The things that, what's the word I want? The tactics that have traditionally been used to control, like you're looking at me right now, the tactics that have been used to control that, your point of perception. And I was taught what's called the assemblage point, to control your attention. Where is your attention? Not working. And so the first thing, I've got to escalate it. And it has been. The other part, I will tell you the honest truth. I had broken feet, and we were experiencing that we had to bury people. And there was a lot that I just wasn't aware of because I don't watch the news. I figure if it's something really bad, somebody will come downstairs and tell me. And that was pretty bad. Beware of being manipulated. This is Barb Dwyer telling you, beware of being manipulated. Because there are those factions that become involved in certain events or involved to create them, but mostly to exploit them in order to inflame. Because what will that do? It removes the attention from where it was. And then it turns onto another topic, but at least it's no longer in that one that they couldn't control. Now, this is a different one, and they have more control. It's all about control of your attention. There are worthwhile results. This is true. Be aware. Like I used to say to my students, I mean, it's not the person, it's using them. That's what you look at. Know who is controlling where you're putting your attention. And I can see, I'm writing about it as I see it. The other thing that I've been doing is I've been going back and doing a lot of writing on my odd life. And it's hard to go back and be that intensely focused on your own life without a lot of things coming back up. I was born years were spent in Georgia during the onset of the rights movement. And it wasn't something to watch on TV. It was something going on right down the end of the road. We weren't allowed to be down there, but it was still going on. I was in third grade. When the first black kids came into my class. And before class, because I was no different as a kid as I am right now, the principal, and the teacher called me, third grade, getting called by the teacher out in the hallway in 1963. No, it was like, I think it's like 65 or something. I don't know, whatever, third grade from whenever I was born. It's written down in the part in the story I'm writing. And so the teacher calls me up front. That's no big deal. I stayed in trouble all the time. You go out in the hallway. Back then, that meant you were going to get paddled. And I remember I was like, what'd I do? And I go out in the hallway, and there's the principal. And it's like, oh my God, you get paddling by the principal. Oh yeah, you could beat kids back in that day, and I was freaked. And I was the principal's pet, and he actually, there were other kids, and basically he said that he had called, for me, the teacher to pick me. Something's going to happen today, and I need your help. And he told me his kids were coming in. He used the word Negro, and he said, "You are so friendly, and I want you to help them feel welcome. I've seen you, take out for blah blah." What he didn't really know was I had been raised at home by a black woman who was our housekeeper, but to me, she was the closest thing I ever had to a mother. And her name was Annie. I love her to this day. And I lived really close to this really fine horse farm called Rock Ridge. It was owned by a man, George Montgomery. Look up. His dad built Coca-Cola. He was probably like the biggest 1%. Yeah. And he's not even a third mile away. And in 1963, white people didn't take care of their own horses. they had grooms and they had trainers and they had groundsmen, and there was like a lodge. It was like a big hotel. Um, Now, and so there were houses. They weren't shacks or anything like that. They were small, but they were houses. And the black people lived them, and they had their families, and they were Annie's cousins. So we would go up and see the horses, but we would see Willie, who was her cousin, Willie Holt. He ran the whole thing. And the only part about that, they knew me, I knew them. The only thing that went with that we got to think, 1964, you are a sacred oath to Annie that you don't say anything to your parents. Well, of course I didn't. They were building airplanes. What do I care? I was up with the horses. So we go out with Annie, and they would uh and I could pick it to this day. Um so yeah, so third grade, no, so great having a secret from somebody like my mother. Third grade, you laugh, go sit down. I'm like, okay. They clear the desks because 3 people were coming in my classroom. And the first girl that walked in, I knew her. She was Annie's like niece. And there was some kids in the class that were laughing. They started laughing. And I was out of my chair across the room. She was really just heavy, but so was Annie. So to me, she was like little Annie. And I knew her. Uh, um, so anyway, I can't imagine how that felt for her to be 6 years old, 7 years old. How terrified, how terrified must that have been for them. And the difference is I thought that then. And sure enough, not ask because I didn't like him anyway. They started laughing. He started to say something. And I had the look, even as a kid, but I was like a head taller than a lot of kids. And there was the playground. And I didn't care if you were a boy or a girl back then. You didn't mess with my friends. And I would take up for the people, other people who couldn't defend themselves. So that day, knows how you doing? She sits next to me, and the other girl, but Sandra, she sat on the other side. And Sandra wasn't. Sandra came from up north, believe it or not. But I got to know her out on the playground, and that was my school experience all through school. They were my friends. It wasn't, you know, I know entitlement when I see it. Oh, fuck, do I know it? So I have lived with that too. And um, when my dad died when I was 10, very sudden, well, kind of very sudden, that day, because I hated my mother, and my mother did not like me either. Um, Mother, like, called, you know, uh, Annie, because it took a while to get back from where we were. Mother called her, and I never saw Annie again. So on that day, I lost my dad and my mother. She hid the phone numbers. My sister hid the phone number. Wasn't allowed, no phone code. Yeah, and I was not allowed to contact her ever again. They wouldn't tell me the name of the doctor. She had, mother had, like, back then he had like address book, and it was gone. Her phone number, her address, her kids, it was gone. And then dad and mother, poof. But she taught me about, she taught me about Robert Kennedy, sorry. But I will tell you that other kids right in my neighborhood had no idea about anything really. Um, But I think Annie was committed that out of the whole world, there was going to be one kid who was aware of anything. She did her job very well. So when I see people yelling at each other and calling each other names, T, to be real goddamn angry about, make no mistake about that. Be angry. Be angry enough to examine self first. Be angry enough to refuse to allow others to, like that one kid laughing when Annie came in, when Glenda came in, and we stayed very good friends all the way through school. It took a while for me to become the kid who would stop adults from saying that word, and we're talking, 1960s. To not allow anything like that to be said around me, because these are my friends, and that comes with maturity. You're not going to get maturity yelling at other people who don't want to hear it. It's not going to happen that way. It will happen by first owning, where do I see the differences? Where do I think that, I didn't even notice that I automatically just went first? Where was that? When did that happen? Go back to that spot first. Second, and I'm talking to white people here, to run around and do something for, we will make this happen. That's not what anybody wants. You have to learn how, but sometimes it's just to stand next to the person making the difference. So like I said, it's automatic. Find it, but you're not going to find it yelling at somebody else, telling them what they can and can't do, and it's not going to change out of control authority, and that has to be dealt with in its way also. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of levels, and it's not going to be run up and break a window and everything's going to be better. It's not going to be. What it will be is not going back to that, when they say, I got to be here when they say, I got to do this when they say, because when you get back in their time with them controlling your attention, then all that other can stay. I sound like Star Wars, stay on target. But to keep your conscious awareness within yourself, you can still keep a schedule. You can still, work a job and look for a car and get the right clothes, and but with the right conscious awareness, you can no longer ignore yourself out of habit, and you can no longer allow someone who perhaps doesn't have the strength to stand up for themselves. You can no longer allow them to be pushed. But you don't run around looking for it. I mean, it's just with the appropriate conscious awareness that comes from where do I own shit, that other comes. To run out and yell at buildings, break windows. Oh. It doesn't change anything. I was there in 1963. Here now. Now, here's if I can tell you, it doesn't change anything. And it's got to be from both. And the first thing that has to change is the awareness. Take it from there to there. And you've got people right in front of you who hurt. People right in front of you. And if that person right in front of you is only as deep as a coat of paint, the coat of the next person. And I'm waiting for the. I'm waiting for the. Got what is right in front of you. There are others who is a calling. They will talk to a whole bunch of people, but there are also other people who will escalate, so that authority will respond in the only way it knows how. And that's kind of what you don't want. And I'm seeing it. So I don't watch it anymore. And that is like a 10-minute thing to my entire life. I'm an artist. Yes. I see color. Bitch, I see colors other people don't see. Of course, I'm a fucking artist. Of course, I see colors. I see the beauty of skin tone. I see the shape of a face and how different that is than another. And I see it through the ancestry of their people. You're talking to the woman who can walk out on a horse pasture and tell you which horses are related to each other. Of course, I see it. I celebrate it. I celebrate it. The just differences in skin or the beauty of culture. It's not to take anything away from anybody. It's just like fascinating. It's beautiful. Of course, I see. My God, I see colors. Fuck, I can hear them. I don't have. Nobody does. Nobody does. But I don't have this. I should do this and this and this, and everything will be okay. Everything is not going to be okay, kids. This is it. This is what we came here for. At the same time, all of this yelling and anger and don't you say that and don't you say this, there are also thousands of souls that are sick. Fix yourself. Thank you. At the same time, they're angry, so do this, do that. There are also thousands of souls who know they're preparing to lead this experience, and they're alone, or they need company, or the people who love them have nowhere to go. What? Well, nobody to talk to. They're yelling at each other and breaking windows. Other people are breathing their last. And it's really a matter of choice, where you're going to put your attention. But it's where you're led to be. All of this hatred, this is what I got yesterday, and I'm probably going to get like thrown off YouTube for saying it. I watched this for like 3 days, mainly trying to catch up. I was, occupied, and I was around Ferguson, but 1964. I was in Marietta. And they're yelling, and we're going here. Every right to be mad. Those who perpetuated those events, with law, use the law. All of this is going like, we're changing this, or we're marching, and we're going here. Did you know that it was 6 days? I counted. It was 6 days until anyone said anything about all that going on, and not one person, not one time, said anything about children who didn't speak this language taken away from their parents and being kept in dog pens and sleeping on cement floors. To me, as a woman, as an elder, that was out of balance, huge. But nobody even mentioned it. It's like, vote for me, change this law. Our children, I don't speak this language, sleeping on cement floors. Luckily, I don't have a vehicle. Because if I could have, excuse my leg, there should be elders descending on the places like the last march of the ants. Nothing shall be done to harm the children. So, and that is why I say, free your own energy. Absolutely stand up for those who can't. Absolutely do that. At the same time, more absolutely be aware of who is running that attention, who is drawing that attention to this thing, who is focusing that attention. It's beautiful that it is not so much like this, and it's more we're dealing with each other, but we can deal with each other without like freaking windows. And that's a learning process, I know. There's not a solid answer. Not a solid answer. There are those who are just, they're not going to fucking learn to. And there was this guy, they have like this whole big franchise thing about him. He sent his students out this story. Man, don't tell them what you saw me do. Tell them what I told you. And one of these students goes, well, what about the ones that won't listen? And he said, and it kind of comes from the Tao, behind the Tao. Leave this for me. If a person is deliberately no deeper than a coat of paint, you're not going to change them. And yeah, it's more fun to find a different way to do it. But setting things up so that authority has an excuse. It's like, yes, now they can respond in the only way they know. That is also not change. So, be aware. And, know that this is not like, man, it's like, ooh, this is like our big chance. This might be our last chance. This time, what we are doing right now is our only chance. And I came in this world knowing it. And we'll probably go out of this world like Cassandra and nobody listening, and that's fine. It's fine. I walked my medicine as clean as I could. And that's all. I'm not even asking you to. I would take a day off. Tomorrow's Sunday, right? Today's Sunday? I don't even know. But I know that tomorrow, with lockdown, with all this, it's just as good a day as any to maybe go check out the grass and flowers. And that was just this in your world. and a little less of this. Just tomorrow. Let's see what happens. It'll change the flavor of that place without forgetting about what happened. You can do that without screaming and yelling at either preaching at the choir or at those who refuse to listen. That goes nowhere. Neither one. Neither one. It's a change. So, but I know that tomorrow there will be thousands for that implosion and that explosion out into all matter. And it really does, if you think of them and bless them, whether you like them or not, bless them, because this is the greatest thing that they're ever going to do. It becomes harder to sit around yelling at others. Some of us are the type who like collect information, or gather knowledge, and we just kind of pass it out. And I've had to become this age to hand it out and walk away. A good bit of that is because I am still quite ill, quite sick, and I can't have that kind of energy. I can't, because I can't heal with that energy, and I'm no good to nobody. Anyway, yelling about things I cannot change myself, and I have had to learn to be in sick. God, with the worst connection. I've had to learn how to keep my energy clean, because I do. I don't need permission. I have more than I'm supposed to do. And I'm here to tell you how 90% of you do too. So, what to do with it? How about that? Oh, I had an idea too. You know that those I am this kind of person too. Now I've got my college roommate made it for me. I haven't put the wire in it yet. So, and I'm standing to check out, and they're like pushing the cart with me. I had this great idea to just turn around. I go, okay, say cheese, and like take their picture. I have a feeling that would make people back off really quick. Or might get shit knocked out of you, I don't know. But I just avoid it. I don't go. I'm not enlightened, and somebody pushes me, it could get really ugly really fast. And it's easier for me to stay aloof. Oh, and make stuff. Did this drawing? You know what? I don't know. It's got a date though. Is it charcoal? And I gave it to my adopted sister for her birthday. There's something else I was going to show you. Oh, and this bear skull for my friend in Liverpool, England. He's waited 3 years for me to be well enough to start. And this is how my skulls start. It's like a base type coat. The big deal with that is I'm safe enough. I'm safe. I'm no longer in an abusive situation, and I will not pull something out or any of my art. I will not do it in that kind of energy. The first time in 5 years that I did that or this. This is huge. But it's also that I felt good enough to do it. And I felt good enough to do it because I have, what's the word, been mindful with my energy. And that's why you won't see me participating in that, because for me, this is more powerful to do than that. So I've been doing stuff. There's other things I've been doing, but did that just make a giant noise? Air. We planted a garden. The focus here is on life, moving forward, creating. I'm not where you are. I'm not in a crowded city. So I'm not saying you shouldn't do anything. I just have the advantage of like being further up the bleachers than a lot of people. There is beauty, and there is always a perfect sky. And doesn't that feel better than being angry at a 3-year-old who's now banging pots and pans to get you looking at this again? So they'll do what they want you to do. If you're doing what they want you to do, that's when you know to, yeah, be smart. You have knowing, you feel it. Follow that. So anyway, I'll see you guys probably a couple of days. Stay alive, stay safe. Make sweet dreams. Huh? So cut this out, and thank you for showing up. Oh my God, 3 people. I don't know what to do. Thank you for sitting here, because that couldn't have been easy. Oh, here we go. And thank you guys. And beauty. Oh my God. And Jesus.